The dumpster. This is normally where food waste from restaurants and food suppliers would be going. A recent report by Second Harvest found a whopping 58% of food produced in Canada is lost or gone to waste. But Vancouver Food Runners, a local food rescue organization, has a solution to that. There's over 150 volunteers and over 80 food donors. I spoke to the founder, Tristan Jagger, to know more about the organization. So Tristan, what inspired you to start Vancouver Food Runners?
I'm a mom of 4 little kids, ages 8, 6, 4, and a baby. And when I found out that in Vancouver, British Columbia, there was 1 in 6 kids go to school hungry, I couldn't actually believe it. So I started to do some research with different places all around the world, actually. And I stumbled across an organization called 412 Food Rescue, who was doing amazing things to combat food insecurity. And it inspired me to bring it to Vancouver.
Janice Johnson has been a volunteer since the organization launched. So Janice, you've been with Vancouver Food Runners for a year now. Tell me about why you joined.
I joined because I'm a serial volunteer and I can't help but help other people. It's part of my upbringing from Saskatchewan. And the volunteer coordinator at Food Runners reached out to me to ask if I would help when they started up their organization, and I haven't looked back since.
Basically what we do is we have an app called the Vancouver Food Runners app. We match access food from food suppliers in Vancouver to charities that need it. As a volunteer, they accept the food run, they can claim it, and they can see where the food needs to be picked up and where it needs to go.
Today, Janice is answering a call from the Swiss bakery where she'll be picking up 2 boxes of baked goods. Next, Vancouver Food Runners is dropping the bread and baked goods off at a senior residence. Don Crawford is one of the many partners with Vancouver Food Runners. Don, what kind of impact have you had being a partner with Vancouver Food Runners?
Well, it's been quite a positive impact. They've brought us bread and for the last few months now, and it's been a very good impact on the tenants, and it's saved a lot of waste in the city.
Here's your bread for the week.
Thank you. It's great that Food Runners performs this service for us. Otherwise, we'd have to do without.
How has COVID impacted the organization since you literally started last year?
When all the restaurants in Vancouver started shutting down, we got a lot of calls from people saying, we have tons of food, we can't use it anymore. At this point, we actually hadn't launched our app, so we were manually matching the food and sending out food runs to our small amount of volunteers at that time. It grew substantially over the last year as COVID continued to rattle our city. And we had a lot of help from different people trying to recruit volunteers and get food suppliers for us and community partners. It's a super safe way to volunteer and give back. And so many people were home. They weren't at their typical routine. So they were able to jump in their cars and pick up food and drop it.
Vancouver Food Runners is saving food waste, but it's also saving the environment. So far, Vancouver Food Runners has collected 275,000 pounds of food. That's nearly 18,000 giant African elephants. They've also prevented 83,000 pounds of CO2 emissions. That amounts to taking 124 cars off the road each year.
So I think what we can learn from that is that we can redirect this food so it doesn't end up in the landfill and it doesn't cause CO2 emissions. And we can feed people. So for me, that was a huge reason why I thought this would be an amazing platform to bring to Canada.
For Janice, volunteering weekly has been a wake-up call to how much food gets wasted in Vancouver.
That there's a lot of people that need food in Vancouver that aren't able to access it, and there's a lot of people that have extra food that need some place to take it.
Vancouver Food Runners has been running for a little over a year, and the organization has had fast growth with 150 donors. But Tristan says there is room for more outreach and growth.
Canada is one of the only G7 countries that doesn't have a lunch program in the schools. And I think if we can use our data to help change that, I think I would be feel really happy about that.
Vancouver Food Runners is looking to expand into the outskirts of Vancouver into the suburbs. They've even gotten calls from other parts of Canada, such as Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa, on people who are keen to use the app and better their communities. I'm Benit Braich, 25th Hour, Vancouver.